Hello and welcome back to Idol Talk.
More
In this
details
episode, we
soon.
do a deep dive into the group VIVIZ
Hey
from
everyone, I'm
BPM
Chris,
Entertainment.
co-host,
We
and
recap the accomplishments of their
I
former
may
group, G-Friend,
physically
discuss the
decease
acquisition of
if I do
Source
not
Music
get
by
any
Hive,
of these
and react
August
to their debut and title
encore
releases.
tickets.
Stay tuned to
I
hear
think they
what
go
we
on
think
sale
about
next
their new
week in
concept
March.
and the future of the group.
I already pre-warned my husband. I was like, get ready for this credit card charge.
Hi everyone, welcome
I'm
back to
gonna
Idol
go
Talk,
all
where we
out.
explore
Like
South
you have
Korean
no
pop culture, one
no,
obsession
you
at
do
a
not
time.
understand
My
that
name
this
Nathan, and
is
I'm your
like
host.
the moment.
Hey
for
everyone,
me.
my name is Ashley,
So,
and I just want to
yes, pray
say
for me, please.
congratulations
Help me
to
get these
NCT
tickets.
Dream on their latest
He's doing
Japanese
like multiple. I feel
single,
like there will
Best
be.
Friend.
I hope so.
I didn't know
but
that it was going to be a
Yeah,
Japanese
there will be
single. I
definitely
thought it was going to be a Korean
opportunities.
single for
Well,
some
we
reason.
all know the
And
whole
so,
ordeal that
it's- I mean,
Ticketmaster
it's still
is
very
going
good.
through
It's kind of like
right
a
now
fun
that they're
pop
finally
dance
exposed,
song, so
and
please give it a listen.
Army
Best friend
just
ever.
in general,
Best
and
friend
like
ever.
yeah, I just
Alright.
I'm
It is really
afraid.
good. I
I'm
watched
very
it.
very
Or I
afraid.
It's
listened to it
better to
earlier
be
today.
safe than sorry.
I
you
know.
Follow all
Hey everyone,
the
it's
steps,
Gabe,
read the
and
fine
I
print
just want to call to
according
the attention of the
Casey.
listeners.
Reading out
I
loud
recently
helps
saw
with
a
comprehension.
video on YouTube Shorts,
It's true.
and it reminded me about why I
Annotate.
loved music boards.
Annotate.
Annotate if
And it's
needed.
because they are dedicated to making idols
So yes,
sing
so
live.
I believe it
And
goes
so
on
the
sale
video
next
in
week. I
question
forgot.
is it sees
I'm
Yeji
ready. I renewed my
singing
Dang
karaoke
Army
to
membership just for
a
these
classic
tickets.
K-pop
I'm
song
kind of
called
I'm a
Tears
little
by
upset that I
So
did
Chanwi.
that they got me right
and
when
there's
it was
like
going
a
to
high note
expire.
in the song
but
that's like really hard
whatever.
to hit, and there's like
It's
compilation
Yoongi,
videos
Yeah.
so
of like idols struggling to sing it.
Sammy told
But
me
she
that
absolutely
she-
nails it in this karaoke,
Yeah.
and I think the
someone was
most
trying to use her to buy tickets
or the
because
funniest
she
thing
was
about
an
the
Army
video that I
membership, and she was
sent
like,
to
"Just
the
buy it,
group
it's $20."
was
Yeah,
Leah
it was
sitting in
22
the
now.
background, just sitting there and like
Yeah, so
watching
I'm gonna buy it.
silently as
Buy it.
Yeji was just
Because I'm
popping
trying to
off
buy
with her
tickets as well.
live vocals.
It was very
And
good.
in my head, I was like,
Okay.
oh my gosh, Yeji just
Alright,
ended
hello
Leah's
everybody,
career.
it's Gabe, resident K-pop
Because Leah's the main
extremist.
vocalist,
She
right?
is, yeah.
I think, yeah.
Formally
So,
adopting
like,
that title.
Dang, Yeji
And
just
I
ended her
just
career
wanted to
with
give a
this
shout
one
out to
karaoke
Brave
cover.
Girls. It's
We
been-
need to
I
we need
know.
to
I
highlight
don't know
more
if you've
itsy
heard,
vocals,
but
right?
Brave Girls
I
is
think so.
finally calling
No.
it quits.
Well, with that
after
in
all
mind, I
these
think
I mean,
we're
it's
gonna do it.
They released
Just
a
yeah, I feel like
single
Yeji's
titled
the only one who
Goodbye,
can actually sing,
and it's kind of like a slow, but
It's
that's
very out of
a
character.
for another day, I guess.
Okay,
Yeah, I
it is
know,
for
it's like,
another
I
day because
wanted
we
a
got a lot to
bop.
talk about today.
Well, yeah, it was out of
To our
character,
listeners
but
for
not out of
tuning
character
in.
for the
We are
situation.
going to jump right in
Yeah,
and
yeah.
talk
Did they
about
release anything else?
a deep
like,
dive into
Why
VIVIZ,
they're disbanding?
who, if you don't know, I will go ahead and
I don't
start
know,
by
honestly.
providing
I just saw
background for
that
all
they
of
were
our listeners.
disbanding and released the single.
In the
but
spirit
I
of
haven't
doing that,
really put too much.
you can't talk about
research into it,
VIVIZ
um,
without
I think
talk
there just wasn't a
about
lot of
G-Friend.
information that came out.
So
of
let's
it.
go back
Like,
a
it
couple
was
of years, shall we,
this is
to
it.
2015, actually,
Yeah.
the
which
whole
is when
thing's crazy.
G-Friend,
Yeah,
who was
and we were
the
just talking about how
offshoot
like
group, or the, not offshoot,
if
what
it
is the
wasn't gonna
correct
happen
word?
for them this year, they might have
Um,
fallen off. So I guess that
original
prediction wasn't
group.
that far out.
G-Friend.
Yeah, who,
The
wait, when
parent
did we make
group?
that
Parent
prediction?
group?
Like,
On the
not so long
remember
ago.
where like they need
This
like
was
a
the
really
parent
strong
group
digital year
that
this
was
year, and
formed
if
in-
they didn't, it
that
would be
was
hard
formed
to
and
rebound
debuted in
back.
2015
So,
that consisted of 6 very lovely
maybe
members.
that empty last year was hard. for
Eunha, Yerin, Sowon, Eumji,
them. Anyways,
Well,
Yuji
goodbye to Brave Girls.
and
goodbye to Brave
Thank you
Girls.
for-
They will.
so I
forever,
remember when I
like,
first
have one of
started
the
started hearing
highest
about this
charting
group.
songs of all time.
The one thing
period.
that a lot
So
of
I
people
guess
talked
that's not a
about was
bad
that they're an
career.
even numbered group.
I know.
Yeah.
And
So,
It
I'm sure
potentially
One of the
looks
best
weird because
comeback
there's not
stories.
necessarily
Of,
one
like,
that
all
fits
time.
in the center
Yeah.
because you need an odd
Okay.
number for that. So that always
Alright.
stood out to me.
Thank
Like
you
there's
to our
6
listeners for all
members.
tuning
They
in.
do have like really interesting
We're back with another
formations, but it's never
episode,
like
and
clear
we're
and crisp
going
where there's one
to
person
do
who's-
another roundup of
Anyways,
K-pops, and
they
Gabe is
debut in
gonna start us off
2015.
this time.
with
Alright, so this time around,
part
I'm
1 of
recommending a
3
song
of their school
that was
trilogy.
released
And
around
it's a big
Valentine's Day. I
success
think it
in
was on
Korea
Valentine's Day
because
itself.
people really
And
like
it's Stacy's latest
school uniform
lead single
outfits,
called
simple, clean and pure girls concept kind of thing. Very innocent fun. And they debuted with a song called Glass Bead, which was excellent. So everyone needs to go back and listen to the debut song. It's excellent. They're known for their clear and crisp choreography, good vocals, lots of classical sounds in the background, kind kind of anime-esque. Also just like just really good. What was that? The string.
Like violin.
Yes. So they debut with Glass
Teddy
Beat.
Bear
It's a huge
is
hit.
kind of a
Megusta's
feel-good
2 hits
song,
with
as I said,
their
released
second,
on February
their first
14th.
comeback, so their second release. And that's really
The
good.
music
Also,
video is kind of
and then the next year in
cute
2016,
with some
come
like
back with a
teddy
song
bear
called Rough,
type
which
outfits
ends up
mixed
being
in
one of the
there.
most streamed
was
songs.
kind of giving
like,
furry,
in Korea, period.
But
And
that's
Rough
kind of
on
besides
the
the
music
point.
charts won 15
And the lyrics,
times
I
on
didn't
the music
understand what
shows.
they meant.
Wow.
We're not
Just
talking
reading
about
the
no
English
blip
translation,
here.
So I looked
Like
it up,
this song
and
took
according
over Korea
to my
that year.
search, the song
So
is about
I'd like to, like, as I was
making
reflecting on
mistakes in
G-Friend's
life and
initial
how it's
career,
okay
I
because
was
it's our
actually
first time
thinking about
living it,
making
and there's
a
no need to
comparison
rush or
of
worry.
G-Friend to what we're
So,
seeing with New Jeans.
It's a very
now.
simple, kind of
Like,
cute
Wow.
concept.
They were
Kind
the
of very
most
happy-go-lucky
streamed song
type
of the
song.
year. We're talking. So this
And
ain't no
They had a
joke.
few animated scenes
Yeah.
in there
In
with like
2015.
a lot of pink and bright colors.
So Rough hits 15 wins. One of the most popular
Yeah,
songs of
I
the
think
year.
it was a
That same year, they
pretty
come back
solid
over the
release all
summer
around.
with their hit
They peaked at
Navilera.
number 56
16 wins.
on the
So they
Gaon
amassed a
digital
total
chart
of 31
and
wins
sold
on the
almost
music shows in
270,000
2016.
units of the single
So
album
they're
in the first
they're
week.
like aespa new level.
They also
Wow.
got 32
kind of
million
come out of
music
nowhere.
video views on
New
YouTube,
Jeans, kind of not
and
coming
they
out of
have
nowhere,
3
but
music
like,
show wins.
huge
so far.
popularity.
So their sound
Yeah.
must have been like really fresh for their for that
I have a
time
question,
then.
This,
Gabe.
yeah, I
So,
think it was really fresh
You
and
said
like
that the song was a little bit about.
There was a
like, don't
need for
worry
that type of
about-
sound
Was
because
it like
there were
you're
other
living your life
groups
for
that
the
were
first time, so
doing
don't
it.
worry
I
about
would probably
mistakes
consider them
or
closest
don't
to
worry about it kind of
A-Pink,
thing?
maybe.
Yeah, something I love.
Although
So
they
then
see
where does
girls'
the teddy
generation
bear
as the
come in?
role models, but I still think they're similar to A-Pink.
Yeah,
So,
you know, I
like,
really
you
don't
know,
know, honestly.
innocent
Or it's just
vibe, like,
that's
not necessarily
the
like
graphic that they were
bubblegum
going
pop,
with too.
but
It's kind of like a
like a
it's a cute
like
teddy bear, but it's also a
like
little
a
bit
clean
edgy.
sound, like refreshing.
Yeah.
Yes, I
And
don't
it's the
know.
album cover too.
a
Like
fairy,
you
sure.
have the
Yeah.
like dark like royal purple
So
with black
2016,
color scheme.
what
on
would
the
be
on
probably
the
their
album
most
art.
successful year?
Yeah, the way I
They
saw it,
have
it was kind
huge
of like they were using the
successes throughout
teddy
the
bear
next couple of years,
imagery
2017,
to kind of
2018,
signal like
2018, 2019,
if you're
win
like,
Best
you know,
Female
you're
Group
doing
at some
stuff.
end of the year award
I
shows.
feel like
So,
the
you know,
music
we're not
video
talking
kind of
about some
communicated it
one-off
where
hit.
it's like
And this is, you know,
they were
the
in an
competition of
environment
a
that was
lot
like
of
supposedly
really, really
serious.
talented
So like there's a
Mhm.
scene where they're all in
And
like
I
a
will
library or
say
something.
that
Mhm.
in
And
the
then
summer
one of the girls
of
gets up and like starts dancing.
2019,
to
and
the
you know,
choreo of
this
the
is
song.
after
And then
lots
there
of
was
mini
another one where
albums,
they're on
lots
like
of
the
number
school
one
bus and the
hits,
same thing happens.
even full
So it's
length
kind I feel like
which is
the
a
teddy bear
pretty
image
big
was kind
rarity
of a
for girl groups
proxy
to
for
release
like
full-length studio albums.
not taking things
All of
too
that happened
seriously,
in the summer of
Ah,
2019.
whatever
that
the
makes
situation
sense.
may be.
Source
Um,
Music, which was
So it's I don't know, that's my
original
interpretation. I thought it was a
album
little bit
gets
difficult to kind
fired
of
by
understand everything, to be
Hype.
quite honest.
Not everything
But
is supposed to
that's where I'll
be
turn
like
it over to
fully
Ashley.
comprehensible and fully
Yeah.
like
So
everything has a meaning kind of thing.
they
I
get
guess.
acquired by Hive, and it's a pretty
Yeah.
big
That's
deal.
true.
Like
because,
it's okay to
this
just have a
is
song
around the
about a
time
teddy
Hive
bear
is,
or
like,
with a song with a
kind
teddy
of-
bear.
It's not even a song
I mean,
about
a
teddy
song with the
bears,
teddy
you
bear
know?
symbol
They
attached
had
to it.
Source
and
Music, who also
It not
has
having really any.
it was
song.
Source Music. Then
It's
it
okay.
was also
I think
Pledis.
part of it also was they
acquired
released it on
Zico's
February
label
14th,
too,
which is
Right.
Valentine's
They're
Day.
just collecting
And
all
so,
of
like,
these,
I don't know how much
Mm.
that
Gotta cut them all
factored
here.
into it.
Yeah.
Maybe they intended
And
to release just like a
their
fun
first
Valentine's
comeback
Day
after
song
the
about like a
acquisition
teddy bear.
was
And then
early 2022.
It turned into, and
with
they like had to
their
find a
8th
meaning
EP,
after the fact.
Labyrinth,
So
and
that
then
might
the
have been what
lead
happened. I'm not
title,
totally sure.
Crossroads.
After
that's
they
another
released
theory.
it,
Early
then-
2020, right?
Yeah, early
Or
2020.
like after
You
they
think
kind of
that-
conceived of the concept of the teddy
Then
bear.
in the
Yeah.
summer, July 2020, they
Like,
released
Maybe they
Their
like
ninth
made the
EP,
song,
Song of
planned everything
Sirens,
out, and then they're like,
with their
okay, we
lead
need to
song,
assign
Apple.
some type of deeper
And this
meaning. And so they
was
just
like as newish
because the
K-pop
chorus is literally
fan,
just
because
they
I
say teddy
started
bear and they're
studying
like
K-pop
ooh, 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 like that's
2019,
it.
I think.
They just say teddy bear
So-
throughout the whole chorus.
I didn't know G-Friend
good. I
as
like
like the
the song a
sweet
lot.
angels that they were.
I liked
Yeah,
it a lot.
I
Yeah.
I
Don't
knew G-Friend
Look at
as
the
like
lyrics, you just never
Apple,
find them,
you know?
and you just listen to
Oh,
the music.
Oh, God.
It's a bop.
yeah, and I liked it.
For
sure.
Because
Yes.
around that time,
Which
there
is exactly what I'm doing.
a lot of
because,
groups were
I don't
transitioning
understand
out of
Korean.
Like, so when I'm listening
Innocent.
to it, I'm
Yeah.
You're just
I'm
kind of
hysterically
dancing like,
listening,
hey,
mature girl
kind of
crush
thing. It's
type of
fine.
vibes.
Like, what's the
This
big
is
deal?
the-
Oh yeah, I
I need
remember
songs
that.
Yeah,
like
this
that.
was the year that ITZY debuted.
And it's great. It's great.
So it was.
Yeah, the
there was a lot
choreo
of
was
that.
super simple,
And,
super cute.
yeah, right
or, I don't know about
after-
cute, but it was super
Right
simple
after
and like
Apple,
I feel like it's a
in
good
November,
choreo
so
for
they had 3
like
comebacks in
TikTok
2020.
challenges
they
because there's a
came
lot
out
of
with
like
their 3rd studio
duo
album
kind of choreo
While
pieces where you have to
Fergus
like dance with
Night
other people and like
with the
yeah,
title
yeah.
Mago.
And it's like that could be fun for collabs and stuff.
I still
really
remember
like
the choreo over that. I like that song a lot.
Patty cake.
A bop. I really liked it too.
Yeah,
Choreo that
a
they
bop.
were doing.
Bago
And
was
then I think
a
the
hit.
point move
Yeah.
was literally
So they were
like
working
a
hard
teddy bear.
under Hive.
It's like
And
And
this,
then
right?
come the spring,
Yeah.
think
May
they-
2021,
yeah.
all 6
Yeah,
of the members
they were
like
of
making
Source
the
Music.
The
Yeah.
ears by the
And
head.
I
the
remember
ear
this
shape
being
with
such
their
a big
hands
deal
and then,
because like
reaching
they
outward.
all released letters,
Yeah.
handwritten
cute.
letters.
I think they were
to
really
the
going for
fans
the teddy
after
bear
the
concept.
announcement,
Well, good.
and they all seemed so
They were
sad.
like they
you know?
really.
And then
really
shortly
went
after,
for it. Like the girls had teddy
like
bear heads
some in
on.
June,
There
some
were
in
teddy bears
July,
in the background. There
some in
were
August.
people
So
dressed up
months
in
after their
teddy bear
disbandment,
outfits.
the
Mhm.
girls announced that they were joining
Yeah.
new companies as soloists. And then some of them, Eunha,
After Stacy released this,
Eunha, Sunbi, and
I
Eunji,
had just gone back to look at
announced that they're
Stacy's
going to be the
discography, and
group
they
VIVIZ.
have
So
bangers.
by the end of
That was
2021,
like they
all
last
members
year
were
they did
at new
Run to
companies,
You and they did Beautiful
and it was
Monster,
just so
and
obvious that like
unknowingly those
they
were 2 of my
didn't
favorite
wanna
songs
be
of probably
at
2022.
Source Music Hive anymore.
So,
Like
I'm
there was
Unknowingly. I love how you say
distinct
that.
music change.
because it's not like we
And
talk about them all the
they were
time, but
probably
I
unhappy
listened to
with,
those
like,
2 songs
the
so
direction.
many times.
Yeah.
or their contracts
Yeah.
or what have
so
you.
for me, it was like, okay.
Because I remember when
I
we were
like
doing
Stacey
our
Farr,
probably
so
initial
I'm glad they were
episode on
able
this
to continue on
that
with
we
this
weren't sure
trajectory.
Yeah.
at that time.
It's interesting you
If
brought up their
G-Friend
previous
just wanted to
releases because
stop
when I first
they were
listened to
tired.
Teddy Bear, I was like,
But then they
this is
resigned
very
and
different
started to do
from
some
everything they've done
activities.
before.
We were
Yeah.
wait,
Like everything
that can't
being in
mean that
pink and like bright colors was
they
kind
wanted
of
to retire from the industry.
like if you remember So Bad,
They were just
their
unhappy.
debut, and then pretty much
They
every
wanted to
song
keep
that came
going.
after that, it was never like a super
with
bright and like
Not with
colorful
Mm-hmm.
color palette
So
they
I
had.
have a little
So this was definitely
segment.
a
Where
departure.
are they now?
Yeah, it
We
seemed
know
like
that
they
those
went
3
one
girls
standard
are
deviation
under
closer to Aegyo
VIVIZ,
this
which we'll
time,
talk
which
more
was an
about
interesting
later.
choice.
But the other members,
Yeah.
Sowon, who was their
'Cause, like,
leader
Run
in
to You
visual,
was
she
Aegyo, but
is
not,
under
and then
a
Beautiful Monster definitely wasn't.
OUI
Mhm.
Entertainment
So
I entertained.
interesting.
as an actress.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the
And she
concept
hasn't
works for
debuted
them though.
in
'cause
acting yet.
they're still very young.
Yeah,
So-
it still works.
That's incoming.
Yeah.
Yerin,
Um,
who
It's not that
was
Gabe, what did you
Space's
think of
group lead
Poppy?
dancer, whatever. She is
Oh,
under
I really like
Sublime
Poppy
Artist
actually.
Agency
That was
as a
I was
soloist and
debating
actress
between
and made a solo
recommending
debut in
that
2022,
or
Which
Teddy Bear,
based upon
and
YouTube
I decided
views,
to do Teddy Bear just
seems
because
to have underperformed because she only had like
Poppy
1.5
was
million.
It was
a
the
Japanese release
yeah, the
originally,
pre-release, yeah.
The most successful, I would say, out of all of
but
the
Poppy was
soloists
also really good. And I think
is
there's I don't
Yuju,
necessarily think
who
Teddy Bear is
was their
like
main
their
vocalist,
previous
and she
releases
signed up
in
to
terms of
Connect
sound, but
Entertainment,
it
which is
still
Kong
seems
Daniel's
to be very
company.
like you can still tell
and
it's a Stacey
she
song.
had like a complete concept change. She
like, I
now
don't know how
is
to
like
explain
a
it really,
K&B
but-
artist, and if you look at
it
her
still
views,
has
on
that
YouTube at
same
least for her
sound to
titles,
it. I don't know
they're
if it's
in
the
like
intro where they say like
9,000,
Stacy Girls or if it's
9
the rapper in
million,
the
7
middle.
million, like
But
It's not
it's still
bad.
like a very
huge
like
numbers
it's a quintessentially
in comparison
Stacey
to the other
voice.
girl,
That makes sense.
Yaren. You know,
and
like,
as a soloist,
right,
Right.
right.
Anyone
So
else have any final
she has
thoughts
more
on
of a
Stacey?
deeper sounding voice, and
Okay,
it seems like the like
so,
K&B
Gabe,
style
I'll go ahead
works for her.
and go next.
I didn't
My
know that.
recommendation this
Yeah,
time
so
around
she's doing pretty well.
is going to be Keys.
So the 3 ladies that we're gonna
Killer.
mainly talk about, Eunha, Cindy, and Yuji, they are now part of VIVIZ. And VIVIZ, VIVIZ, is an abbreviation of the phrase which brings together the concepts of clear, intense, and as defined by the
So
agency
this
as
song
the
comes
meaning
out
becoming
of
artists
his
who always proudly
Shiny
express their
Keys
own colors to the world.
second
like
repackaged
every day is,
album
like,
that he
living in
released
bright
last year.
colors.
So last year he released Gasoline
So,
as part of his second
It says,
full-length
in addition
album
to the Korean
and
pronunciation,
on February 13th, so
VBG,
actually around the same time that
VBG,
Stacey came out with their
it
comeback.
refers
He
to
came back with his
each
second
member.
repackage
So
with Killer. There's
Eunha, her full
several
name
other
is
songs on the
Jung
album
Eun
as
B,
well.
so B, and then
Um,
Sin B,
But in terms of Killer,
and then
it is
Eunji, her
what
name
I
is
see
Hwang
as an
Eun B.
80s inspired
No, wait, what am I saying?
kind of
Yes.
synth
It's Eunha's real name is
pop
Jung Eun B,
release.
B,
B.
and then
Which-
Shin B,
Also
B,
had a lot of
B,
electronic
and then
beats kind of in the
G,
background,
G.
which
So
I really, really
B,
liked.
B, G. God.
Wonderful.
And in
Wonderful,
terms of the
sorry.
concept of the
Ugh.
video and also
So
the
they
album,
debuted as a group October
there was a lot of
2021,
like
and they are
cars
signed
and
with BPM
motorcycles
Entertainment.
integrated with
Their
it. And when I first saw that,
debut
I was like, I would
was
have really never
February
expected Key
2022,
to do
And the EP
motorcycle,
was Beam
car,
of Prison.
fire concept.
So yeah,
This
they
is
did
not really what I
win
think
a
of
music
him,
show with it.
but I feel like he really made it work for him because he incorporated
Great.
a lot of
Gabe.
Do we know
car,
what other
motorcycle,
groups are
and
under
then
BPM
spurts
Entertainment?
of like
Did you
glam,
look
glitter,
that up?
I did not look it up, but I will look
Yes.
it up
which
right
is
now.
quintessentially
I
Key.
remember.
Oh, I-
they were,
so
it was
I
like a
was
smaller
pleasantly
company, but there
surprised
were
by
like
that
notable names there.
Mixture
have
of
Soyu
concept.
from
What I
she
also
was a Girls'
really
Generation member, right?
Sister,
Oh,
like
Sister,
about
Sister.
Key, just like in general,
they have
is that I just really
Ha
feel like he could do
Sung-woon.
it all.
right?
who
And
was former
like the
Produce.
vocals
Yeah.
are like
Yeah.
solid.
And then they have
10
Lee
out of
Woo-jin.
10. The dance is 10
Okay,
out of 10.
yeah, these are big names.
And then
the
they have
outfits
Bio,
are 10 out of
another
10.
big name.
Like he can really do it all. The song was
And they
also
have
like a bop.
Ren. I don't know who that is.
I would categorize it as a bop.
Yeah, so it's
okay.
definitely not
really
like a
consumable, really
I
easy
don't know,
on
like
the
a huge
ear,
big four
really
company,
catchy.
but it's like a
I was
feel like
reading a lot about.
Ren
I was
is a
reading
respectable
former
about
member
company.
just
of
some of the
Newest.
online reactions
oh
to it.
newest. Okay.
And
Oh.
they
Yeah.
felt
Okay.
like,
That
or
didn't
and I
stay with
agreed
hype.
with this,
Hmm.
that this would
So
have been a
there's
really
some
good follow-up
bodies.
to Bad Love.
There's lots of
which is
bodies.
one of his also
Lee
Woo-jin
is like a
releases
huge
from
artist right now.
2021.
Yeah, and Soyu's like
Soyu's
Soyu's big too.
She's
It's
not to be
interesting that it
scoffed at.
followed up
No,
Gasoline.
definitely not.
But
Yeah.
yeah, people were saying that this was a good companion to Bad Love.
Okay, Gabe,
so
what
it
happens
is
from
very
there
Also,
with our precious group here.
also very key.
So VIVIZ, after
Um,
Bop Bop, which was their debut,
But yeah, I really
and
enjoyed
after winning on M
the
Countdown,
release.
that
My
technically
favorite part
qualified
about the
them
choreo
for Queendom 2.
was
Oh,
favorite
that's a
survival show.
prerequisite?
and then he would
I
just
didn't
down
know
and
Yeah.
that.
a spider
You had to have
going
one,
up the wall.
right, Gabe?
Yes.
You have to
And I was like,
you have to win a music
This is
show,
so cool, even though
to
I
make it to
hate
Queendom 2.
spiders,
and I think
and
they
Yeah.
prefer that you win
arachnophobic,
M
quite
Countdown.
frankly.
Yeah,
Of course
it's
they do.
impactful. It's such
Yeah.
a simple
I
move, but
literally
it's
thought
like
that they
so
There's like so
impactful.
much going on. He actually does it for quite a
Picking
while.
people.
I think it's just
You know?
like
I mean,
Yeah.
and he like
I
looks
think
right
they
into
kind
the
of- I think
camera
how it
with
works
his,
is
like,
they kind of
strong,
picked
like,
people, and
presence
then
visual.
Came up
they
with
like
the
made the
criteria
criteria
of-
based
I don't
on
know. I
the
really
people
like
they
that
were
part. I
picking.
probably watched it on replay
Ah.
like 2 or 3
Making the
times.
That
rules
is-
afterward.
So
Yeah.
that was really great. That's my favorite part
Yeah.
of the choreo.
Was
But I
was
think
this
everybody
album was it a
who participated
repackage?
in Queendom
it's a
2 had
repackage.
Okay,
at least
okay.
one M
Yeah,
Countdown
so there's
win,
only
except maybe
it's
Brave
this
Girl.
song and then there's like 2
I'm
other
not-
new
don't quote
songs
me on that,
the
but-
album that came
Anyways.
off of
Well, that was after
the
Rolling,
second full length,
so
which was Gasoline.
Yeah.
they had
Yeah,
a
so
lot.
Gasoline was more of like an
They
anthem,
come on to
I
Queendom,
feel,
and
and
if
this
you want to
one was
learn
more
more
of just
about
like a
all of the Queendom episodes,
really,
and
really
our
solid
thoughts
pop hit.
on each one specifically, and
single
all the
Right.
different stages that
which I think-
happen,
I thought he
Right.
did
you can
really
check
well.
back at our previous episodes where we
in
cover that
terms
in
Very
depth.
80s.
Yeah,
I'll link
spare
them
you-
in the description.
Great.
yeah.
In terms of
I'll
the
spare
lyrics,
you kind of all of that background
it's
information
largely
and just
like a
fast forward to the end of Queendom, where they
reflection
placed
about not being
third out
able
of
to
6
forget
groups.
someone after like
in the
a
final
difficult
standing.
breakup.
Um,
And
and
in
the
my
way
head,
the final
I don't know if
standings
this is
worked,
actually
it was mostly a
true.
popularity
I guess in my
contest.
interpretation,
Um,
he is like
And so WJSN and Luna were at the top 2
at least that's what I
because they
project
kind of had the
because
biggest
that's
fan base that came
he's
out
like a
and
savage,
really
right?
voted
so
for them in
Yeah.
the last round.
he's not going to be.
But there also still was like a performance
he's gonna
aspect
be the
of it
one
too.
that's
So
calling the shots and
during
stuff.
Queendom,
Yeah.
to
So
kind of
I
summarize
feel
our
like this-
thoughts from
this
the previous
concept of the lyrics
episodes,
really fit
they
well to
VIVIZ did a combination
I know
of sort of
Key.
like G-Friend
To be.
type stages
Yeah.
where they would have a similar concept
other
or
thoughts?
do like
What do you all
the
think
same
about the song?
songs they performed like
Yeah,
years before
I
as
think
G Friend.
that
except in
I really
a
like
3-member
his
group
80s
under
concept
VIVIZ.
with the album and
And then they had a few other stages
I think it fits
where they
in
kind of
really
went for like a
well.
more,
I think
I could say
that
hard or like
it's interesting
aggressive
how he
concept
always does, like,
than what we
very
were used to in the
serious
G-Friend era.
concepts
So
when we know
they were
that
kind of
he
on this
is
like
not that
2-track
serious
path.
in
They were
person,
trying to
or,
do what
like,
they did
comedian
before
now.
as
yeah,
G-Friend,
like his
but they were also
his,
kind of
variety show.
trying to
like TV
forge
show,
kind of a
variety
new
show
concept
personality is like very
in
lively,
VIVIZ.
you know,
Right.
not
And
very
so
intense.
It was a little bit all over the place.
Hard hitting as his
and
his
to my
comeback.
mind, I think it was,
But ultimately,
you
like,
know,
his
it made sense because they're
performance
still
is
trying to figure out what they're
always
trying to do and everything.
top-notch.
But
You
it
would
just
never know that he
didn't
was
Yeah.
like a
land
variety king now.
with the viewers
Yeah.
or us.
for real.
Yeah, I think
real.
their confusion
I
was
also
transferred
like that-
to the viewers.
So the song
You know?
was giving me,
Yeah.
it's I don't know.
Um,
Hence,
okay,
you know, a third
word
place
thriller,
finish, right?
But
Yeah, they finished 3rd place.
It-
Pretty far behind
it kind
the first
of
two.
reminded me of like
Okay.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson.
So after
But
Queendom, they came
but
back
not, like,
in the
like
following
Halloween
summer.
Scary.
No, yeah,
This
yeah.
was
Dark.
summer
Dark.
2022,
And
Yeah.
then
I
also
believe.
because it's 80s, like
With
also kind of that
Their
same
mini
time
album
period.
called Summer
Now that you
Vibe.
say
I really
that,
liked it.
And
I
the
see
title
it
track
too,
was Love Aid.
100%. It follows along the
and
same
so
sound.
This
Yeah,
first
like
comeback
80s dance.
was a complete departure from Bop Bop, their debut song, which was interesting
I liked
because,
it.
you know, I feel like when you're trying to
everyone should
establish a
give
new
it
concept,
give it
you
a
kind of
shot.
want to
And,
take it and like run
he's
with
just,
it and like
like,
stay consistent at least
I mean,
for
he's
the
just a
next
staple
release.
of the K-pop world,
Yeah.
essentially.
They kind of did a 180.
That's that.
Their concept change didn't really land with people.
Okay,
the YouTube
so we're
views
gonna
are
move
still
on
under
then
5 million
to
to this
Chris.
day.
Wow.
Yes. Okay.
And
So
the
my,
digitals performed
my
like really
rec
poorly.
is not.
They
It's
didn't
kind of an
crack
old
the
rec.
top 150 in Korea
But
on
not
the
too
charts.
old.
Wow.
This did
So
release
their
a little
Queendom
time
win
ago.
didn't help
And
them
it is
at
from
all.
this group that, believe
Yeah,
it or
their
not,
time on Queendom,
they've been
I think,
together for 20
did not.
years.
I don't think it helped.
And
I
so
don't think it
this
helped them, but I also
yeah,
don't think
this
it
is
really
kind
hurt
of like
them.
the
I just think
celebration
it
of that,
Yeah.
kind
had
a
no
little
real
bit.
effect that we could
We'll go
measure.
into it. But my
Yeah.
rec is going to be
And so
Catch,
they sold about
featuring
79,000
Mufasa by
albums
Epic
in the month
High.
of July of their comeback.
Thank you very much and
So it was like fairly successful. And then fast forward to early 2023, currently. They just had a comeback 2 weeks ago with their song Pull Up off of their latest EP titled Various. And again, surprise, or maybe not a surprise, they did another 180 with the concept. It was like kind of a punchy Michael Jackson, like girl crush type concept that they were going for. And the YouTube views right now are about 6 million. And in the
This
first
song
week
is
of
also
album
kind of
sales,
going with the
they've
80s
almost matched
vibe. It is
the
also
entire
very
month
disco
of
influence.
album
The whole
sales from the
album
previous
altogether
comeback.
has a very
So,
like lo-fi,
It's still TBD if this is gonna be more or
like
more
slow
successful.
feeling to it, you know?
but,
So it's not
I mean,
per
I
se a
think
bop.
they're
And
making
essentially,
progress
I
and
was
kind of
reading
moving
over
up
their
and, you know,
article
getting a
on
little bit more
Billboard,
recognition.
and so essentially
I'm
what the
not
song
sure
is supposed
that
to be is
it's
like
really
a
landing
"fuck you"
still, though.
anthem. And so Tablo
but
was
that's
saying
just
that
kind of my
there's kind of a duality to the song because on one
Yeah.
end it's saying
So,
like no matter
okay,
what,
what
you
did,
do, you can't
what did you all
catch
think
up to
about the
me. Like
comeback,
pretty much like I'm
Ashley?
doing so much better. Like
I
I'm pretty
think-
much superior,
so
and
I
you can't
only
reach my
watched
status.
half of the
But then
video,
it's also
and I
that
think
duality
half
of
was enough for
I
me
want to be the one to
understand
catch you when
that
you fall or anything like
it's
that.
very obvious
And so
that
that's
they're
why
still a
they
little
brought
bit
in Hwasa, because they wanted to make it
So,
this type of song.
I didn't know
And the way
about
I
their
took it as
concept,
is
like,
that
the
it's a
meaning
fuck you
behind their
song,
name
but it's
before-
elegant.
before
You know, it's
watching
not a
Queendom.
very
Yeah,
straight
so,
up. Exactly.
I mean, like,
Um,
as I
so
reflect
then
on
going
their
into
debut
the
song,
album
Bop Bop, and
itself,
this
Strawberry,
latest comeback,
in the article
music
they
videos
kind of
are
do say
very
that
colorful,
Strawberry
you
was
know?
chosen
They are,
as
like,
the motif
living their
because
vivid days.
it's sweet and
But the
fresh, and that's
sound
kind of what they
is-
wanted
I
this
just
album
don't
to
know. Like,
represent,
when
especially
I-
going into
if
their
someone were to
20th
ask
year
me
as a group.
who
And then he
is
starts
VIVIZ,
going into more
I'd
about
be
like,
like,
but if you smash a strawberry,
they're just, like,
it's
this girl
very
group that
fragile, but it'll leave a stain behind on your table.
I don't even
or-
know
don't
what I
he
would
was
say.
just-
Like,
he was
Tableau
very-
and his meaning.
I know his freaking what is it? His
Um,
PhD
I'm
in
kind of on the
English
same page with
literature
you.
or
Like,
whatever.
know
Yeah.
kind of what, like,
But yeah,
they
he
don't
was
have
very
like their
into this
own
whole thing
concept
about
and
the
ownership
strawberry
of it
representing
yet.
this
Mhm.
20th
They've done
year.
kind of a little bit too
And so
much
apparently,
180, going back
Epic
and
High
forth
is
doing a bunch of different
here.
stuff.
It
But at
was
the same
supposed
time,
to be their
they're
last
also
album.
not like this latest
not
comeback was not
necessarily
kind of
that they wanted to
on
disband
track
or
with like
anything.
what's
They still
popular
wanted
right
to
now.
perform. They
And
still
so that
wanted
also didn't
to,
make sense to
you
me.
know,
Like
do
if
what
you're gonna
they
change
do,
your
but
concept,
they just
like
weren't gonna make
I feel like most
albums
people
anymore.
change it to something that is
But then
trending
Coachella
or
came
kind of
around, and
coming
I
up.
guess they
Like
were
when
just
they did
inspired
Mago,
by
it
being
seemed
on
like
the
they were
road.
going with the disco.
And so
Yeah, and that was kind
they
of a
wouldn't
really
necessarily
popular. Like,
call
and
this album
if you remember
an
back to
album.
Mago that
They
year,
said
there
it's
was
just
a lot
a
of people
project.
doing
Right.
that kind of like
Because
disco
the album itself
retro
only has
concept.
5 songs.
Same thing with
Yeah.
Apple. Like
And
there
so
was a lot of
that's
people
kinda
doing the dark
when it
concept
first
at
came
the
out,
same
I
That's a
was-
time that they
Blackpink
released
album.
it.
Okay.
When
And
it,
that year,
when it
too,
first came
was
out, I
very
listened to it in the
clear
car
what
because I
their
was so
new
excited.
concept was
And then I
when they were
like I
acquired by
looped
Hive.
back to this
Like
first
they
song after
completely
like
changed
maybe
to that
half an
more
hour,
mature, dark.
45
concept.
minutes, and I was kind of
Right.
like, that
But
was it.
here,
Like that's a
it's
really
like,
short
Since
album.
it's all over the place, it's
So it was
like,
really
well,
cool
what-
to see
what are you
how they
doing?
kind of
Like, I
didn't
don't know what to
mean this
expect
to be
from
an
them
album.
anymore.
They wanted it. They just had like musical inspiration that they just needed to get out. So it was really
I
cool, and it's still.
watched
I like
it,
every song on it. Tableau has a
and
really good. Oh my gosh, I lost it right now.
I guess like I don't know what to
Um,
expect either.
He has
when
a
I click
very
play.
good rap into it, where it's
My,
kind of like a
Just
monologue,
like
a
a
rap
diehard
monologue
G-Friend
in
fan
it.
that wants
that
it to be
is
G-Friend
very-
music,
Very Tableau.
or should this be like a whole new group?
So yeah.
Oh, really?
I just don't know.
Lots of
So my initial
And-
thoughts were,
deep
oh, it's so
meaning.
Deep
dark.
meaning, bringing COVID into the situation.
and it's just
it's
not what
just
I'm used
really
to
cool.
seeing from them.
So
Yeah.
big fan of this album.
it's hard for
EP.
me.
It's an EP.
I'm a sad G-Friend fan.
Yeah. When I first
Yeah,
found out
it
about the
seems
album,
like you're looking
I
at it from a
saw,
G-Friend lens.
I think
That really
Tableau's
wants to support
Instagram
VIVIZ
posts about
in
it,
their new endeavors because it's
how
really clear
They were
that
only
Cindy
going to promote this
Eunji,
album
and
via
Eunha really
Memes,
want to
yes.
continue on with this.
Right.
Yes, and so they have like
What's
the ones
weird
that I've
is,
seen
like,
are like
For example,
retweet,
Yuju,
like
who's
it's
under
the
Kong
card,
Daniel's label.
the
I
album artwork. And in the
actually
card,
have
it's
listened to
Regina
her new
George
stuff,
and that
not
other
knowing
blonde
that it
girl.
was
And
former G-Friend girl singing
I
it,
think it was Tableau.
and I
then
like it.
The caption was like,
So,
"Get in, loser,
when
we're
I was
listening
looking
to
her up for
Strawberry."
this episode, everything that she's released under Connect
Yeah.
has
Which
been
now
pretty
makes sense
consistent.
that you say
like,
that they're like this is a very
KRMB.
informal project of theirs.
So
because there
it's
isn't,
easier
like,
for
a-
me
like a
to
traditional
like
or
consume that
actual
because I know
promotion
what
structure.
to expect.
No.
They're
I know
literally
the type
making
of music
memes
that
and just
I can
tweeting them or like
hear from her.
posting them or whatever. and
But
that's it.
it's,
Dare
I
I
think
say-
usually have,
I'm
like, a
also
strong,
I'm not a jaded
like I feel like they don't really need to
a G-Friend
promote,
fan, but
like-
I just
like, they don't
know
usually
that
do much of
because
this traditional
inside
promotion,
the
Yeah,
VIVIZ
they
girls
don't normally do the
are
traditional
confused.
promotion.
everyone knows when they
I
release, and
also
they just
am
kinda do it like
confused.
American style.
Mhm.
and I think if they
Just-
didn't have their queendom performance,
Yeah.
like
they
if
just
they
go
didn't
out, they just
perform like or
do
participate
it
in
because
queendom
they're
at
just so
all,
senior.
I wouldn't have had this perception.
Wow, I can't believe their
So
last
I think
album
I
was
would have been
their
like
last
okay with
one.
their
Right?
comebacks.
That's what when I
It
read
would've been a
that,
little
I
bit
was
off,
like,
But I would have
But
been
it
like,
also
okay,
makes
like
sense,
maybe
'cause they've
just
been
trying
together
stuff
for
new.
20
But
years.
I
That's a
know
really
now
long
because
career.
of queendom
I know
that
but,
they're
like,
confused. You
The
know?
last album came out, there was no
I will say with
no
Yuju,
like heads up.
the
Like, this is
releases
it,
So-
that she
you know,
has
we're
had
done.
there
have
kind of
all
was.
been,
So
like,
I
they've been
also read in the
consistent
article
in
because
the
I
same
also
vein,
didn't interpret
and
it
I
as
feel
the
like
last
that's the
album.
way. Like
So
if
you
you
know
are
how Epic High is
breaking
Fierce
off from
is part
a
1
group
and part
that had
2.
popularity and starting kind of
Apparently,
all
the
over,
very last
you have to
song
approach
of
it
part 2 is
in the sense
Champagne.
of
And
okay,
so that
I'm
was
starting
supposed
as
to
like
tie
a new
into the
artist,
very
not that
first
you're
song
continuing
of part
as like
1.
an
And
established
so
artist,
Champagne
right?
was
Like,
their like
when you, like for
closing
example, all
out.
the girl groups that debuted this past year, they pretty much had
Yeah.
one concept
Fucking
or
sad.
one kind
Yeah,
of
I know.
sound
Oh, here we go,
that they
here we
stuck
go.
to the whole time, right?
Quotes.
Or
So
the
we
ones that did
actually did
well, at
decide
least. Like,
internally
Hive
that
and their
Epic High
three
is
releases
Here
were
would
all
sort
kind
of
of in
be
the
the
same
last
vein.
album.
La
Epic High
Seraphim,
is
they kind
Here
of have
Part
their
2
own
2 ends with
concept.
Champagne, which is
Eugene's
sort of
has,
going
like,
back
a
to the
similar
very
sound
first song
across
of our
most
oh
of their
no sorry my
releases. So
bad
it's
of our
like,
first
when
album,
you start as
Go
a new group,
on
you kind of
Map
have
of the
to
Human Soul. It's like
you
the
have to
curtain call.
establish
We were
yourself
like, we've
in
made so many
the image
albums,
that you
and I don't
want
think there's
people to
anything
remember.
we
Which is
can
actually
really
what
say.
Different did
So let's continue to be
Yeah.
epic high and
2015, 16,
perform.
17.
But I'm not sure if we should ever make an
And then they
album
started to
again.
play around.
It was like a collective decision.
I don't know what we're gonna do.
That was
with
very
VIVIZ.
interesting to me.
I
Still
really want to
releasing
support
music,
them.
so-
Yeah,
But I also
Things
think
are
that
alive and
they're
well.
I think they're being
so
left
we can
behind
expect to
also
not
by the current
have
generation
regular
of
releases from
K-pop
them.
listeners.
Yeah.
Whenever they feel like it, they'll
It's
release
really
something
hard
if
to
they
stand the
want,
test of
but
time.
They're mostly just
I think.
retired and performing.
And
exactly. I think they still want to
That's
tour.
I don't know
They're
why
gonna
like
tour
this is
again
coming to
1
mind,
year
but like I
later,
think
so-
of like a new K-pop girl group fan, like I don't know, maybe someone like Sammy,
Yeah.
right?
I really
Sammy
like this
doesn't
song,
take any interest in
Strawberry,
someone like
which
VIVIZ.
Yeah.
is not even a song. Like it's
Right, but
like
she knows
the interlude to
New
the
Jeans.
EP, and majority of the song is just an
Right,
instrumental
so-
on piano.
Like they haven't
Yeah.
done anything
But
like terribly
It's
new
really
to
nice
capture any
because
new
the
fans
instrumental
also.
is like soul.
So I think that's what
cafe
makes
vibes.
it difficult.
Yeah, I was just gonna. It's
Like-
soothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just like imagine just looking out on the sunny day.
And I don't know where they
sitting in the
even go from
window,
here.
Right in the cafe.
Like,
sipping your latte,
I don't think that it's
with your
sustainable
headphones
for
on,
an
your
almost
laptop in
10-year
front of you, maybe you're
old
working
idol
from
to
home
continue
and
to come
you're
back 2-3 times
fucking
a year.
chilling.
Sipping your
Enjoy
iced
it.
So what
Americano.
direction would you like them to
Americano.
go?
Your
then?
iced
Or what
Americano. That's exactly
what
it.
direction do you think
Tangent. I ordered my first
they could
iced
go
Americano
that
at
would
It was
allow them
a
to
Korean
actually
church,
get
but
some traction?
I felt very in. I felt
Valid.
accepted.
I'm just kidding.
Valid. That's
Yeah, did you like
interesting.
it?
I mean, I think
I
that-
did actually. They do a very good job at it.
I'm not saying that they need to go back to the G-Friend concept, but I think that there's actually
Okay,
a
with
big
that in mind,
void
let's
in the
transition to
sound
Ashley
that they had.
Okay.
Like, I feel like no one's doing
in
that
honor of
now.
my sweet husband.
Like, it hasn't been
One out of
monopolized.
3
I'm not
EXO
saying that they need to go
husbands.
back to their
That's true.
roots.
In honor of him
But-
discharging from the military on February
Like a
5th,
modern version
my
of their
recommendation is
old
a
sound.
B-side
Maybe like a
off his
modern
latest
version.
album, and the title
of
is
their old
called
sound, yeah.
Cry for Love.
Yeah, their sound is like kind of
Kind of a little bit all over. Yeah, a little bit all over the place also. So I really don't know if honestly like continuing even to make music is sustainable. If I'm just being like completely honest. And I say this as someone that has been trying to spread the G-Friend word for years.
So this song, Cry for Love,
Like, because I really
released
believe
on
in these
March
6
30,
girls.
2021.
And
the album that it
here's the
released
story
on
that I
is
was gonna tell.
Bambi.
And this was
So
like
you guys
kind
probably
of
remember
in and
the
around
title
where Gabe and I
Bambi,
started
and
to
then
realize that we
main
both
B-side,
like liked
which is
K-pop and were
Amusement
talking
Park.
about it with one another.
So this
And I
is
was like, Gabe, you
the
gotta watch this
secondary
video.
B-side. And he didn't
And I
really
remember
promote this. It's
it was like
just
raining
like
outside,
an R&B bop.
and I had just
And
shown him like I just like put on like an
I
Eyes One
picked
song
this song
or whatever, like a
because
produced 48
It's
song. or
been
whatever.
on the
He's like, oh, I don't know
trend
about that.
R&B
And then-
show, I think
and
that's the name
then
of it,
I was like, oh, but you
Spotify
gotta watch
playlist.
this
It's
video.
just a
It's so
collection
funny.
of, like,
Slash like
K-R&B
really
songs
sad.
on Spotify.
And I played him
I'll
like
link it in
a
the
video
description if you guys
of
wanna
how
listen to
G-Friend
it.
like basically
But
got so
every
much,
time that
also
song
so much
comes on, it's
popularity
just like
was
it
when they
just
literally
reminds me
Stop in your
started.
kitchen
of
and
my
just
love.
They
be
were
like,
performing out, and it was also raining that day.
Swaying.
Yes.
And here's
Yeah.
like
Yes.
each G-Friend
Long
member
notes.
Yes.
slipping in the rain, like one
Yes.
by one
So
by one,
similar
and someone's
to
like
Key's song,
wrangling
Cry for
them,
Love
like really
is
holding them from
about
their
a
waist,
failed
like to make sure that they don't fall, right?
In the
And,
chorus, I'll just read the
I
English
was like, dang, and
translation.
they've come so far
Uh,
from that.
It
So
says, "You
I
make
just
me
feel like the
so high
situation,
that
you know,
you
sometimes
crash
you're
me
not
to the
dealt with a
ground.
good
I'm
a
not
good
good
hand,
for love.
right?
I
And I
fall
think
in
that
love
that's
so
what really
easily.
happened here.
Lingering days and nights pass.
I
didn't
will
know
blame
you
the
as much as
institution.
thought,
I think
but I
that
fell too
like
deeply
if Hybe
for
was
you.
ready to
Was
invest
it
in their
really
girl
love?
groups, they should have invested more into
So
Source
it's
Music's
like
girl group.
him
They should have
fucking
let them
sad,
stick,
you know?
give them a little
Every
bit of
time
more
that he
say into
cries,
what they wanted to
his
do.
tears don't ever dry.
I wonder if
Like
Hybe.
he's non-stop crying about
Drop
this love. That
I probably dropped
that
them because
he
they were gonna debut
has
Le
lost.
Seraphim
and it's just so
VIVIZ.
powerful.
Yeah, like maybe
you know,
they made
you can
such
really
high
feel the
demand
emotion
of
when
them
he
because
sings.
they did do a year
And
test.
my
You know,
favorite
they had
part of
3
the song,
comebacks
and
that
I will
year.
loop
They did.
this,
That was a
like, I
long
will-
test,
I know the
actually.
It was a long
exact
test, and
second
I would
that
say
it
that they
starts to
all
play.
resonated with at
It
least
is
me.
the bridge
Yeah,
and
they did
after the second
So,
chorus. and I have it queued
Maybe
here for you
they-
guys. I just need
Oh,
you,
no.
please spare
were
me
just demanding
20
a
seconds of
lot.
your life so
And
you
they-
can listen
or maybe
to
they
him
somehow
sing
knew
the
that there was
bridge
no
of this song. Here we go.
potential there. I don't know.
I don't know.
But ultimately, like, when all this acquisition stuff was happening, G-Friend was a 6-7-year-old group. Like, at that point, you give them senior status, almost. Right? So,
Fucking
they should
amazing
be
range.
giving
He's
things that they're
amazing.
asking for.
He's a beautiful singer.
And I can't imagine...
Tell me more, Ashley. Tell me more. Keep going.
Little soft unhug.
I don't,
being,
like,
you don't give me this, I'm leaving.
If you are not
Like,
a converted
you know, she's
stan
not gonna be rude
after
about it.
listening to
Yeah.
him sing that run,
But she'll maybe be like, I think
then
we should get a
we need to
little
have
bit
discussion
more.
because
Like, that's what I imagine.
yeah.
I just can't believe
Like,
Yeah.
these girls are, like, the kindest, like, what
Like,
I see as some of the kindest
people that left for the military in
Um,
2021. It's
so-
now 2023. Like they're done and they're ready to come back.
I mean, there was
Like,
a
are these-
while at
Yeah.
Hive
They're
where
back.
And in
G-Friend was
true-
the only
in
girl
true
group in the
SM
entire,
fashion,
like,
right after hopping
umbrella
off the bus
stuff.
from the military,
Hopping off the
Yeah.
bus.
straight.
I
straight
remember that
through the
when they
company
left G-Friend,
for
this was like
live.
when our friend group started to
And
not
in that
like
live,
Hive.
he announced that he was
Because-
working on an album and a concert.
Hive just
So
At
You
that
better come to
time,
LA
didn't
too.
seem
That's
all I'm
saying.
of
So
company
this
that
live happened after he was
supported their
discharged,
artists.
beginning of February,
Hmm.
and then
like they were
In-
obviously you
I
do
won't go
want to
into
see
like the SM
profit,
Hive drama, but in the series
but-
of videos that SM released,
like they just it didn't seem like they believed
released
in
their
G-Friend.
SM
Didn't
3.0
see
artist
potential
plan,
in that.
which details
like they were
all
expendable
of the
almost.
artists
Right.
that are going
Even
that
though
they have
arguably
planned
they
to
were
come out with
second
albums
it's
this
massive
year.
next to BTS.
Massive and tours. So I'm not gonna go into
Yeah.
everyone. I'll just talk about
Like
Baekhyun's
G-Friend was more popular than
2023
BTS in 2015
schedule.
and 2016.
So
arguably.
he has an
No, they
EXO
definitely were.
studio album, his own mini album, his own
So
world
I don't know
tour,
where they go from
World.
here.
and
Um,
world tour,
Dang.
and
I don't
an
really have a
EXO
crystal
fan
ball
meeting.
on this.
What was interesting about
Nor
this
do I. I would be happy
3.0 slide
in my ideal
is
world.
that there
They
wasn't
figure out
any
their concept
word
and
of an
they come
Super
back
M
like they
comeback?
just
That's fine.
kill it.
even though
But
I know, which is
I
fine.
just
Like
don't
I'm,
see that
I'm-
happening.
I'm,
That's fine.
Like
I see
please
you
do
killing
an
take
it,
EXO
EXO
album and a
over-
world tour.
maybe
You know,
become
Yeah.
like R&B.
I don't need a Super M
like,
album anymore.
staple, maybe
All of my
something like
players are here.
maybe
They could go
Lee
back to
High.
my respective groups.
Maybe.
Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just interesting that
But-
they didn't put that in the 3.0
I think someone
plan,
could
even though
make it
they
as a
announced
career
it
as a
at
model,
their
maybe.
New Year's.
That's right.
Yeah.
She hasn't
show,
You
done
don't
anything
have,
so-
yet.
you don't have to
I don't know.
sing and
We'll see what
dance.
happens.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot in flux.
Like someone was
so
this,
we'll-
like she
who
was the
knows if
leader,
this
and she was.
schedule happens.
Was she the
But
visual? I mean,
I pray to
maybe.
God.
Yeah,
she
she
was like
was
the
the
tallest
visual.
one. Yeah,
Dang,
she
a
was
Baekhyun
the
world tour.
one.
I'm in.
Pretty. I'm there.
Of Baekhyun
She's
World
great.
Yeah.
So there's like so many other things that these girls can do also other
I
than
think
like
that
also coming
this
back as, like,
album.
I don't know, Cindy could be a
Okay, let me just.
She's like a
comment
dancer.
On,
I think she could be a
K-pop World
personality.
without Baekhyun was actually
Like if she went
his
and
presence is
did
very
What if she did
felt that it was
MC
missing,
of
I
I
think.
Live
Yeah.
Alone?
One because
Yeah.
he's just a goofball, and
because I remember her on
You
Queendom
remember
and
that?
her
Like, he's known for
sass
that.
She was funny.
like
Like,
there's really no one
awesome.
like there are funny people, but there's really
But
no
like,
one
think
like
about
Baekhyun.
it. Being
I feel.
MC of some variety show,
And-
like a popular variety
His
show,
talent is
like not gonna discount
very
it,
noticeable.
but
Yes, yes.
that's a big step down
I
from
don't know if we
31
had
wins.
in
in
one
2016.
year that is as
Yes.
In 1 year.
vocally-
Yeah.
That's true.
to this
Maybe
level
she could run a
of
dance studio.
vocal
Stop.
capacity.
She has
the
it in her.
last 2
I think,
years.
you know, quite frankly, I would put her up
Um,
there with some of the best dancers
compared
in our
to
industry. Like Silky, Taemin,
Bambi.
Jimin, J-Hope.
Yeah,
Love it.
I mean, I'm sure there is like.
I feel like
where I
maybe
would
it's
put
worth
Ballad singer
exploring
somewhere who's
collaboration.
killing
There
it.
was for sure,
But
but
it's-
this was a
it's
very
not the
noticeable
same.
one.
I don't know. Like
He
they
has
need to
this
get
is
more
soloist.
visibility.
such a talent,
because
like
their
as far
music
as
isn't
his
doing it for
range.
them
Like I feel like that
currently.
can't be replicated.
maybe an MC on a
Right.
music show. I mean, they're not that.
It's too
And
late
he's in
for
the
that.
vein of like
Yeah.
That would
pop
be like
R&B,
post rough
which is
G-Friend.
not
Like,
a very popular lane.
17, 18. when you're
And
like at your pinnacle.
it's
I know.
like he's just fucking dominating that genre.
I mean, yeah, you got your little
I
NCT
don't know what's happening.
children just like bowing down
I
to
feel
this
sad
boy
about
for
the
the last
situation.
like
I
feel
know.
sad about
decade.
him. When we decided that we were
He's
going
a
to do this
man
review
among
episode,
men.
I listened to some of the discography.
Okay.
I'm like, these are some of my favorite songs of all time. Quite frankly.
Yes.
What I don't understand though is, okay, so all the members
Baekhyun
were
will wait
sad
for
to
your.
leave, right?
We'll,
Or
we
at
will
least
wait
that's what it sounded like. But
eagerly
then,
for the
so
new
why
ones.
did only 3 sign together?
I wonder
to
what the
form a
reception's
group?
gonna
Like,
be.
what-
Are people as hyped as we
like,
are? I don't know.
Was there an
Yes, they are,
opportunity
because he's,
for
like,
all 6 to
Number
sign
one
together
dude
and just like
soloist
form a
in
new
Korea.
group? Because
Like,
I know that
Oh,
I don't know.
like,
That's
Highlight-
very, like,
they
maybe
used to
in your
be-
heart.
They did that.
don't
yeah.
quote me on
They
In
that.
your
used to
heart.
be a
I
different
don't.
company, but they
in
all
my heart.
signed to a
That's
new one
true.
under a different
So that they could
name.
all work together.
Yeah.
Any
And
other
like they're
thoughts
still
on
they
anything
like still are
else
pretty
as we
popular
wrap up here?
from what I understand. I'm just
Yeah.
looking at the SM
I think that's
3.0
part of it,
thing,
too.
and it says that
Yeah, and there are.
SM will debut
I didn't
NCT
see this
Tokyo,
much around the time
which will
when
be the group's
G-Friend
final expansion.
left
Right.
Source, but
So I guess
yes,
this
there are
officially
groups now
is the
that
nail
have
in
left
the
their
coffin
company
of
and
NCT
are still
Hollywood.
able to perform.
Yes,
Yeah,
actually,
I know it's
we
under
were
their
talking about that
company.
this morning.
Like Got
Yeah.
7.
Yeah, I was
Icon.
looking forward to NCT Hollywood just to see how
And
it
they
would play
they
out.
like, can still
kind of like a
like Mama
like
Moo
a train
even.
wreck, you
Some
know?
of
Like,
those
you
girls
can't-
left the company.
You can't look
and
away.
they can still
True.
perform together as Mama Moo.
But yeah,
So-
they did announce in this
I don't know
3.0
why
video that
they didn't
it's the
come
end
all
of the
together.
NCT universe,
It's
and
the-
they're
it's
doing
end of
that.
expansion.
In those cases with the
Expansion,
like
right.
Got 7, I think it's
And
because the
they're just gonna
company
focus on their
explicitly
existing
allowed
artists.
them to keep
Yes.
the
So
Got
they're gonna
7
debut the
name
last
and
3
branding stuff. But
who have
I'm
already
pretty sure that Hive was like, no, you
It's-
can't
Shohei.
It's gonna be a
use G-Friend.
5-member
Right,
group.
isn't
Yeah,
that
the
what
3 of them,
happened?
but then the 2 of
Yeah.
them are already
Yeah.
there.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So
they're
they're
gonna.
not new.
Wait, so
You're right.
does this mean Sungchan
Hive
and
strikes
Shotaro
once
are
again.
finally getting work?
Yeah, it's them 2 and then
I
3
agree.
other members. So that's 5.
They've been getting a
Um,
lot of work.
anyone
actually,
else have any
it's
final
just
thoughts?
in Tokyo. They're not
They're
doing
promotions
like
in
main
Tokyo.
NCT stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like
VIVIZ,
they put them to work on like
please.
variety shows. You know, they have a variety
We're
show
gonna
with
support
the new
you.
members.
Until you,
So they're
until
trying
you
to
tell us
they're
to
trying
stop.
It's
Quite frankly.
Well, just a brief aside on that. It's
I just hope
interesting
their next
because
comeback
they did a
is
lot of Japanese
line with-
variety, and
It doesn't
there was
have
this
to
one clip
be
that I
the
sent to
same
Ashley
exact thing as what
where
they just did.
It's now reversed.
It can be similar to
for
Bop
Sungchan
Bop or
because
same
he doesn't know
concept.
Japanese.
Yeah, Bop
I
Bop
just
was
want
good.
So,
some. Yeah, I know Bop Bop did
is
well. I
helping
just
him
want
a
them
lot.
to like figure
And
it
I
out
think it's
and just stick with
bonded
it,
them closer
and
together.
the
those
success will
two.
come because
That were
Yeah,
dropped in the
that's
middle of
before have
nowhere
done that, where they
2020,
just
right?
establish
That
their
clip was
concept and
really
just keep
sweet
chipping
because,
away,
you know,
and eventually,
Taro, when
you know,
he debuted,
it works.
He'd only been a
So
trainee
most strikes
for some people.
Says the Dreamcatcher fan
And
6
Sungchan
years
really
later.
helped
It's
him.
true.
And now
It
It is true.
in the same thing is
If
happening
they build
in this
it, they
video
will
that
come.
Nathan is referencing.
Yes,
They're
I mean it
both
happened with Dreamcatcher. It happened with
Balling.
ATEEZ. It happened with
Falling
Stray
Yeah.
Kids.
because they
It
just
is
feel
like
so much
it's
like
a
like
it's a
gratefulness
proven
for each
thing
other,
that
you
if
know,
you're
and-
coming
and
from a
they
small
really,
company, that's
like,
the way to do it.
struggled.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not gonna
Keep
work all the
chipping.
time, but I think
Mm.
that's your best shot. This might be the
You gotta
budding
throw your
of
name in the
a
hat.
very close
Yes.
relationship.
Oh, all right. Well,
I mean, if it
thank
already
you to our
hasn't
listeners for
budded.
tuning in to this.
Okay, well,
Mini
what's an
deep dive
episode
into
where none of us wrecked
VIVIZ?
NCT to end off on NCT? Thank you to our listeners for tuning in. We're on
Don't
Instagram
forget to
at
follow us on
IdleTalkPod
Instagram
if
at
you have any
IdleTalkPod. And please
content
rate,
that
review,
you'd
and
like
subscribe
for us
to us
to
on all our
discuss.
major
Please
podcast
let us know and
directories and
email us
streaming
idletalkpod
platforms. We
@gmail.com.
also have
We
our
also have our content
email
directory,
address that we'd like to hear from
idletalkpod.ulu.ai,
you.
where you'll
Any
see
feedback or
previous
content
episodes
requests,
categorized, playlists, song
idletalkpod@gmail.com.
recommendations,
And then lastly,
concerts,
we have
and
our
K-drama
content
reviews,
directory that
and
we'd like
also
to advertise,
information about us. And
idletalkpod.ulu.ai,
it can be found
where
in
you'll see
our
previous
description
episodes
of the episode here.
categorized, playlists, song recommendations,
All right,
concerts,
until next
and
time,
K-drama reviews,
I think
as well as
we have
information about
another
us,
hot take, hot
and
talk
it can be
coming
found
up.
in the description.
So please
of
stay
our
tuned for
episodes
that.
here.
And,
Several.
Until next
and,
time,
yeah,
we will talk to you all
we'll
later.
talk to you all next time.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.